In the vast cathedral of space, 10 trillion galaxies spin through an ocean of darkness, each one containing hundreds of billions of stars. And yet, across all that immensity, across all those countless worlds, we hear nothing but silence. No signal reaches us from the void, no greeting from distant civilizations, no proof that we share this universe with anyone else. For decades, our most powerful instruments have listened to the cosmos, searching for even the faintest whisper of another voice. The truth is, this silence may be the most profound mystery humanity has ever confronted. What if we are truly alone, the only minds capable of contemplating the universe that gave us birth? This is the story of cosmic loneliness, and the science that forces us to ask whether we stand as the sole witnesses to existence itself. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered if someone else was looking back at you? That question has haunted humanity since our ancestors first gazed upward and recognized the stars as distant suns. But only in the last century have we gained the tools to transform that ancient wonder into a scientific investigation. In 1960, a physicist named Frank Drake pointed a radio telescope at 2 nearby stars, hoping to detect artificial signals from alien civilizations. He heard nothing, but his experiment launched a quest that continues to this day, growing more sophisticated with each passing year. Today, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence employs arrays of telescopes that scan millions of star systems simultaneously, processing vast rivers of data. These instruments can detect a signal as faint as a cell phone transmission from a planet orbiting the nearest star to our sun. Yet after more than 6 decades of searching, the cosmic airwaves remain stubbornly, mysteriously empty. This absence of contact has a name in scientific circles, a label for the contradiction that keeps astronomers awake at night. We call it the Fermi Paradox, named for the physicist who first articulated the puzzle during a casual lunch conversation in 1950. His question was deceptively simple, almost childlike in its directness, but it cuts to the heart of our cosmic significance. "Where is everybody?" he asked. "If the universe is so vast and so ancient, why haven't they found us?" The mathematics of the paradox are sobering, almost overwhelming in their implications for our place in existence. Our galaxy alone contains somewhere between 100 billion and 400 billion stars, each one a potential sun for orbiting worlds. Recent discoveries by space telescopes suggest that nearly every star hosts at least one planet, making worlds as common as grains of sand on an endless beach. Many of these planets orbit in the habitable zone, that precious distance where liquid water can exist on a world surface. The Milky Way is 13 billion years old, giving life ample time to arise, evolve, and develop technology on countless worlds before Earth even formed. Even if intelligent civilizations are rare, the sheer number of opportunities suggests our galaxy should be teeming with advanced societies. Some of these civilizations would have emerged millions or even billions of years before humans took our first uncertain steps on the African savanna. With that much time, they could have built technologies we can barely imagine, perhaps even spreading across the entire galaxy. Yet, we see no evidence of galactic empires, no megastructures harvesting the energy of stars, no obvious signs of cosmic engineering. The silence is so complete, so absolute, that it demands an explanation, and the possible answers range from hopeful to deeply unsettling. Perhaps life itself is far rarer than we imagine, requiring such an improbable chain of cosmic accidents that Earth may be unique. Our planet orbits a stable star at precisely the right distance, protected by a massive moon that stabilizes our climate across billions of years. We're shielded by Jupiter's gravity, which sweeps up asteroids that might otherwise bombard our world into sterility every few million years. We possess plate tectonics that recycle our atmosphere, a magnetic field that deflects deadly solar wind, and a rich abundance of heavy elements. Even with all these advantages, life on Earth remained single-celled for 3 billion years, suggesting the leap to complexity may be extraordinarily difficult. Intelligence might be rarer still, a fluke of evolution that occurred only once in 4 billion years on our world. Or perhaps life is common, but something prevents civilizations from lasting long enough to make contact across the vast distances between stars. This possibility has a name that sends a chill through those who contemplate it seriously. A concept called the Great Filter. The Great Filter suggests there is some barrier, some deadly obstacle that prevents civilizations from reaching the stars and spreading through the cosmos. The terrifying question is whether that filter lies behind us in our past or ahead of us in our future. If the filter is behind us, if the jump from chemistry to life or from simple cells to complex organisms is nearly impossible, then we may have already passed through the danger. But if the filter lies ahead, if something awaits every technological civilization that inevitably leads to self-destruction, then our silence from the stars becomes a warning. Nuclear weapons, climate change, artificial intelligence, engineered pandemics. Each of these could represent a filter that no civilization successfully navigates. Perhaps every society that reaches our level of technology eventually turns its tools inward, destroying itself before it can reach for the stars. How do you think humanity would change if we discovered even microbial life on another world, proving we're not alone? Some scientists propose that advanced civilizations might simply be invisible to us, using communication technologies we haven't yet imagined or detected. Just as radio waves were unknown to humans for most of our history, perhaps the cosmos hums with conversations we lack the instruments to hear. Or maybe intelligent life follows a pattern we call the dark forest hypothesis, remaining deliberately silent to avoid attracting the attention of predators. In this scenario, the universe resembles a dark forest, where every civilization is a hunter, and the first rule of survival is absolute silence. Broadcasting your presence might be tantamount to suicide, inviting conquest or destruction from civilizations more advanced and less benevolent than your own. Another possibility suggests that consciousness itself might take forms we wouldn't recognize, perhaps existing in the quantum foam or in dimensions beyond our perception. What we think of as life might be a provincial definition, limited by our carbon-based chemistry and our narrow understanding of complexity. Perhaps the universe teems with minds so alien that we pass by them without recognition, like ants crawling over a computer without comprehending its purpose. Yet despite these theoretical possibilities, the evidence we've gathered in recent decades has only deepened the mystery of our cosmic isolation. The James Webb Space Telescope now peers into the atmospheres of distant worlds, analyzing the chemical signatures that might indicate biological activity. We've discovered thousands of exoplanets, many of them rocky worlds orbiting in their star's habitable zone, potential homes for life as we understand it. Some of these planets are older than Earth by billions of years, giving any life there an enormous head start on technological development. We found organic molecules, the building blocks of life floating in interstellar clouds, and detected in the atmospheres of distant moons. Water, once thought rare, turns out to be one of the most common molecules in the universe, existing in vast quantities throughout the cosmos. Every discovery that makes life seem more plausible only makes the silence more deafening, more difficult to explain through simple coincidence. The Drake equation, that famous formula for estimating the number of communicative civilizations in our galaxy, has been refined over decades of research. Even conservative estimates suggest there should be thousands of technological civilizations in the Milky Way, yet we detect no trace of their existence. Some researchers now wonder if we're asking the wrong questions, searching for the wrong signals, looking for ourselves reflected in alien mirrors. Perhaps intelligence doesn't naturally lead to radio telescopes and space travel, but instead develops in directions we can't anticipate or comprehend. Maybe advanced civilizations transcend physical reality entirely, uploading themselves into virtual worlds where they experience eons of subjective time in moments. Or they might achieve some form of cosmic enlightenment that makes communication with primitive species like us seem pointless or even cruel. What do you believe is the meaning of the great silence from the stars? And what would it mean for humanity's future? The psychological impact of this cosmic loneliness weighs on those who study it most deeply, creating a kind of existential vertigo. If we are alone, then consciousness becomes an almost miraculous accident, a brief candle flame in an infinite darkness that cares nothing for our existence. The responsibility becomes overwhelming, the realization that we might be the universe's only way of knowing itself, of reflecting on its own existence. Every species that goes extinct, every ecosystem we destroy, becomes an irreplaceable loss not just for Earth, but for the cosmos itself. If we are the only minds capable of understanding quantum mechanics, of writing poetry, of experiencing love, then our survival takes on cosmic significance. Yet this loneliness also carries a strange kind of hope, a reminder that we are genuinely unique, genuinely precious, in ways that transcend our small planet. Some scientists argue that the Great Silence might actually be good news, suggesting that the deadly filters lie behind us rather than ahead. If civilizations commonly destroyed themselves, we might expect to see their ruins, their dead worlds, their abandoned megastructures drifting through space. The fact that we see nothing might mean that life itself is the rare event, not technological self-destruction. This interpretation suggests we've already won the cosmic lottery simply by existing, by having evolved intelligence on a planet capable of supporting it. Recent research into the origins of life on Earth supports this possibility, revealing how many seemingly impossible steps were required for our existence. The emergence of self-replicating molecules, the development of cellular machinery, the invention of photosynthesis, each of these represents a monumentally improbable achievement. Perhaps Earth is not just rare but unique, the only place in the observable universe where all the necessary accidents aligned to produce minds like ours. If this is true, then our cosmic loneliness becomes a kind of sacred trust, a responsibility to preserve and spread the miracle of consciousness. But there's another possibility that offers a different kind of hope, one that acknowledges our current isolation while suggesting it might be temporary. Perhaps we are simply early, among the first technological civilizations to arise in a universe still young by cosmic standards. The universe is less than 14 billion years old, and for most of that time it was too hot, too chaotic, too poor in heavy elements to support complex chemistry. Planets like Earth, with the right mix of elements and stability, may have only become common in the last few billion years. If this is true, then we might be pioneers, the first minds to wake up and wonder about the silence, the first to ask where everybody is. In time, perhaps millions of years from now, the cosmos might fill with voices, with civilizations making contact and sharing the burden of consciousness. We might be the first chapter in a story that will eventually span galaxies, the beginning of something vast and beautiful beyond our current comprehension. This possibility transforms our loneliness from a tragedy into a calling, suggesting that our role is to survive long enough to greet those who come after. Do you think humanity has a responsibility to spread life beyond Earth, to ensure consciousness survives even if our planet doesn't? The search continues, growing more sophisticated with each passing year as new telescopes come online and new methods of detection are developed. We're learning to look for techno-signatures, the fingerprints that advanced civilizations might leave on their environments through their technology. Atmospheric pollution from industrial processes, artificial lights on the night sides of planets, heat signatures from massive computing systems, all of these might be detectable. Some scientists even propose looking for signs of stellar engineering, where civilizations might manipulate their stars to extract energy or send signals. Each new method expands our search, making the universe a little less silent, a little more transparent to our increasingly sophisticated instruments. Yet regardless of what we find or fail to find, the search itself has value, forcing us to confront profound questions about existence and meaning. It reminds us that we are part of something larger than our daily concerns, connected to a cosmos that stretches beyond our ability to fully comprehend. Whether we are alone or simply haven't found our neighbors yet, we remain responsible for the precious spark of awareness we carry. The silence from the stars doesn't diminish us, but rather highlights how remarkable it is that we exist at all, that we can ask these questions. In the end, perhaps the point isn't whether we find others, but that we keep searching, keep wondering, keep reaching toward the infinite. Because in that reaching, in that refusal to accept our isolation without question, we prove that consciousness itself is an act of cosmic defiance against the dark.